Alright, so in this video we're going to go through and use a Google chart. So Google Charts are fairly decent. They're a little simplistic. They do things a different style than many of the other chart libraries that are options here. So let's walk through some of the basics. We also downloaded our chart, which is available in the chart.html, and in the other video on tables, we developed this table already. And so we've already added some code to this file. If we run it and launch it in Chrome, we can kind of see that we've got this little basic table here. So if we go to the Google Charts site, one of the things that we'll need to add at the top of our page is we need to add some JavaScript code. And I've actually already added this so that most of these things are commented out so that they're not downloaded by your browser. At the top here we have jQuery. Most of the charts need jQuery in order to make them work, so we're just going to leave that one alone. But for this one, we have HiCharts and Chart.js and MD Bootstrap, and we're not going to be using those in this example, so we'll just delete those. We're going to be using the Google Charts library. So this script tag, I'm going to uncomment that little piece. This label we'll just leave that way, but uncomment that, and then we also don't need our graph libraries. So we'll go and get rid of those ones. So it cleans up quite a bit, and we've also got now a script tag here where we can add some of our JavaScript as we go. So if we go over here and let's go and get started and see what Google recommends that we do. So for example, you can copy this. How about a bar chart? We can copy. Well, here's a pie chart. We could copy this snippet here and give us some information on how to do a pie chart. I think I'm going to do a bar chart here. And so all we have to do is take that last one and replace that with this and then reload it. So let's go and copy this little code snippet. And there's information here in a bar chart here. Here's an example bar chart. It's loading. It takes a little bit longer for the Google Charts to load. Maybe quite a bit longer in this example. Well, we'll come back to this one. So in our script tag right here, we're going to copy and paste all of this code. There we go, and we'll work on that in just a minute. And you'll notice that we also have to have a div that will hold that chart. So I'm going to copy this div. We've got the rest of the information already. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to go down below my table, add a nice little paragraph. We'll make this a blank paragraph. And then below that, I'm going to add my div where we're going to make our chart. So if we save this and then go and refresh it, hopefully, there we go. We've got a nice little Google Charts pie chart. And Google recommends that if we want to change this into a bar chart, then all we need to do is go up to our code here and find where it says new Google visualization pie chart, and then change that to a bar chart. And if we go and refresh our page, and now we've got a nice little bar chart here that we can go and then go and modify. So why don't we go and look more on our bar charts. Maybe the examples will load in just a minute. And we could go and do, there we go, there's our examples. So we can go and do, add in, oh, there's a nice one. Let's code this on JS Fiddle. We can fuss with this one and add things as we go. So JS Fiddle is a nice online text editor where we can edit all of these things that we're adding in here. And so let's go, and we're going to want to add in this array to data table little function. And you'll notice that it has the city, and then it has the 2010 population and 2000 population. And this very first one right here has to do with the header or the legend for this particular chart. Let me open this up a little bit. And so for here, why don't we put in root beer, and then we'll put in the, again, why don't we use the minimum, and then we'll use the maximum when it comes to ratings. we'll use the min and max. And I've already logged into JS Fiddle, so I could save this. So why don't I save this one really quickly, and then we can run it and update it. And you'll notice that this is now changed to min and max. And then, oh, I lost my root beer. That's okay. I thought it would say root beer here, but actually it doesn't. It says we'll need to change that down here. All right, perfect. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go very quickly through, and I'm going to add in the root beer, and I'm going to add in the minimum and the maximum values here. So I'm going to pause the video so that it doesn't take too long for me to do this. All right, so I've added all of those in. Let's go ahead and run this, see if it works. And it does not, so that means I have a little typo in here. I'll need to track that down very quickly. Looks like I'm missing some commas here. There we go. All right, so that works now that we've added the commas in properly. So let's go and change our title to be all right, and then we'll put in, this will simply be the ratings. We'll update this. And that looks pretty good. We might want to change the colors around, and we can go ahead and do that if we want to look at the different options. But for at a basic level, that looks, like a reasonable, chart to put into our project. So now we have to figure out how do we then take all of this and put it into a file that we can then upload to the server. So here's how we do that. So we've already got our chart here. Now I downloaded the one that has the mushrooms in there, and so we're gonna kind of replace that. We're gonna grab all of this in here, and we're gonna get rid of anything that's in that script tag. Now we've got all sorts of other things here. So anything that's within that script tag, I'm gonna get rid of, and I'm gonna paste that in there. Now we've already set up our div with our chart here, and so hopefully, if that works, we will get our chart. Perfect. So now we've got our chart here, and we can go and see, what the different values are, and it looks pretty good. Right? So there's using the Google Charts. That one's not too bad. It does things a little bit differently behind the scenes, but the ultimate results look pretty good as well.